The PlayStation Portal launched as a remote play only device, and a lot of people, myself included, wondered, why does this even exist? But now with the cloud gaming update, although still in beta, I think it might be finally worth it. In this video, I'll break everything down from battery life and performance to comfort, gaming on the go, and of course, cloud gaming. First off, let's talk design. The PS Portal looks incredibly sleek. It basically takes the form of a split DualSense controller paired with an 8-inch LCD screen. The build quality is excellent, giving it that premium feel that you'd expect from Sony. It's a bit on the larger side for handheld devices, somewhat similar to the Steam Deck, although it does feel lighter since it's essentially just a screen. And speaking of holding it, let's talk about comfort. The design borrows a lot from the DualSense controller, which means you get those familiar ergonomic grips. I find that very comfortable to hold and honestly don't feel the weight unless I'm using it for very long periods of time, which if you're gaming for that long anyways, I suspect you'll probably be using your PS5 instead. So as far as the controllers go, they essentially took a DualSense controller, split it up and put a screen in the middle. It feels like a DualSense controller when you're holding it, it looks like one as well. And I'm really glad they did this because I've always liked the feel of the DualSense controller. And when you're coming from the PS5 to the PS Portal, it feels the same, it's familiar, the ergonomics feel the same, the quality of the buttons are the same. So I'm really happy they did that. So something I forgot to mention earlier is that this actually has haptic feedback and adaptive triggers, just like you would find on the DualSense controller, and right now I'm playing Gran Turismo 7 and let me tell you guys, it feels amazing. It's almost like holding a regular DualSense controller. So for a handheld device, the quality is pretty impressive. If you were expecting Bluetooth headset support, you'll be a bit disappointed since it only works with PlayStation Link headsets. So if you want to use other headsets, you'll have two options. One, connecting the 3.5mm adapter to the Portal, or two, leaving your headset's wireless dongle connected to the PS5 and taking the audio from the PS5 itself. Obviously this is not ideal as it would only work when you're using it at home, meaning that the only way to use non-PlayStation headset while on the go would be to use them wired. Next up is the screen. The 8-inch LCD offers a 1080p display at 60Hz, which is pretty good for a handheld streaming device. The colors are actually decent, but it doesn't quite reach the vibrancy you'd get from an OLED display, and it also doesn't support HDR. For most gamers, however, this might not be a deal breaker, but it's something to keep in mind if you're particular about display quality. Also keep in mind that the screen is somewhat reflective, although because you need an internet connection to even use this device, chances are you'll probably be using it indoors, so I suspect it shouldn't be much of an issue. So yeah, the screen is functional, it's sharp, the colors are vibrant, it's going to be perfectly fine for most gameplay. However, I do think it could benefit from an OLED panel, and I think the perfect time for them to release the OLED panel version of the PS Portal would be alongside the release of cloud gaming. Cloud gaming, I think, is going to give the PS Portal a whole new life, and the OLED panel will be perfect for that. When it comes to heat, the Portal doesn't have an active cooling fan, which means it operates silently, a definite plus if you're a noise-sensitive gamer. However, when you push the device with longer gaming sessions, it does start to warm up a bit. It never reaches uncomfortable temperatures, and the absence of a fan actually helps preserve battery life, so while you might feel a little heat during intense play, it's nothing too concerning. Battery life is another key factor. Sony claims the Portal can last around 7 to 8 hours under optimal conditions. In my testing, I found that during remote play sessions where you're streaming from your PS5, you're looking at about 6 to 8 hours, depending on how intense your game is and how bright you have the screen. However, when using cloud gaming, the constant data stream cuts that down to roughly 4 to 5 hours, which is still very good for a handheld device. And while the device charges via USB-C, it lacks fast charging support, which is a bit of a letdown if you're planning on extended sessions without access to a power outlet. Now, let's get into performance. With remote play, the Portal streams games directly from your PS5, delivering 1080p at 60fps if you've got fast, stable Wi-Fi, that is. As for latency, it's not too bad. However, when it comes to games like Call of Duty where every millisecond counts, it is definitely going to affect you and will make online gaming pretty much unplayable if you want to be competitive. With that said, for other games like Red Dead Redemption, Hogwarts Legacy, or Spider-Man, the input lag will be practically non-existent, meaning that you can have a very good experience for casual gaming. However, it's not all perfect. I have experienced some issues with lag and image degradation despite having high-speed internet with a bandwidth of 1.5 gigabit per second. Whenever I'm downloading a game, for example, the PS Portal essentially becomes unusable and even loses connection to the PS5. This can thankfully be improved in various ways. One way to do so is updating the graphics settings of your PS5, which you will have to do on the console itself as it cannot be updated from the Portal. From the graphics settings, you'll want to turn off 120Hz, switch your resolution to 1080p, leave VRR on automatic, and leave everything else, AALM, HDR, etc. as it is. Another solution for lag or image degradation might be to connect your PS5 with an Ethernet cable if possible, especially if you're using the PS Portal on the same network as your PS5. Because the Portal works by streaming directly from your PS5, they're both taking up bandwidth, so the moment you add someone else streaming a movie, playing online games, or just being online, your PS Portal streaming quality is going to drop. Cloud gaming on the PlayStation Portal is a game changer, as it extends functionality beyond just remote play. Do note, however, that cloud gaming is currently in beta and available exclusively to PlayStation Plus premium subscribers. Although it gives access to over 120 PS5 titles, including hits like Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ghost of Tsushima, and Ratchet & Clank, I find that it's also missing most of the games that I actually play, so as of right now, the cloud gaming may not be worth it for everyone depending on what you play. Performance-wise, you're looking at 1080p at 60 FPS, just like with remote play with the PS5. While input latency is noticeable in fast-paced games, it remains playable for most casual and single-player experiences. However, some key features are still missing in this beta phase, such as support for PS4 and PS3 titles, in-game purchases, and party chat, making it feel somewhat incomplete for now. However, this update drastically improves the PS Portal's potential, as it is now evolving into a more standalone handheld for PlayStation gaming. If Sony expands its cloud offerings, adds more supported titles, and refines performance, the PlayStation Portal could become a true competitor in the handheld market, bridging the gap between console and cloud gaming in a way that we haven't seen before. Gaming while away from home is possible, but you will have to remember two things. First, you need to have very good Wi-Fi connection in order to have an enjoyable gaming experience. And second, you will need to remember to leave your PS5 in rest mode before leaving. The last thing you want is to be far from home, turn on your PS Portal finally ready to game, only to realize your PS5 is turned off. Before doing this, however, you do have to update some settings so that your PS5 works with remote play and also while in rest mode. In order to do this, go to Settings, System, and Remote Play. From here you can enable remote play and turn on the setting for the user who wants to use it. And to start remote play while your PS5 console is in rest mode, select Settings, System, Power Saving, Features available in rest mode, then turn on Stay Connected to the internet and enable turning on PS5 from network. Plus, because there's no option for local game downloads, you will need these settings enabled regardless of whether you're playing at home or not. So who is the PS Portal really for? I would argue that because this device requires a good internet connection at all times, it would be most advantageous if you find multiple people wanting to use the TV at the same time, but you still want to play your PS5 games. For example, if you have kids and they want to watch TV, you can leave your PS5 in rest mode and still enjoy some gaming while they use the TV. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the PS Portal. If you made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.